मेरा ब्रेकफास्ट होता था मफिन and like some eggs. जो भी सबसे सस्ती चीज़ मैं ले सकता हूँ, that's what I would eat. Started like that loneliness started kicking in, and then you're like thinking like, did I make a right choice? Because you don't feel you fit in. So I was doing all three of those jobs. I was never going to university.
Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me Chauhan to the easy E. Know that we undefeated. Y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance, but his lines are overhead. Better check the air for clearance. Call the tower. This is ours. Clear the heat. The air apparent. Really, I've never been better. Legacy. This is forever.
What's going on guys? So आज की वीडियो is very special जो मुझे बहुत रिक्वेस्ट आई है Instagram पे, YouTube पे, स्टूडेंट्स से, international students से. So I thought कि I'm going to make this video and cover this topic and maybe help some of you students and youngsters.
Okay, so the first question is, what made you, like, what was the decision that made you think that, okay, I want to apply for studying abroad, and why Canada?
So when I was in 12th, when I was in 11th standard, I wanted to do engineering in IIT. So I was preparing for IIT JEE exams and AIEEE. Or 12th May, when I went to 12th standard, I think I had a shift in my mindset wherein I was influenced by wanting to go abroad, because I thought by giving SAT exams and using my 10th board results and all those essays and jo pura there is a way of getting into an undergrad good university in US or anywhere else. So I did that whole process and I found it fascinating that I feel like I can get a really good university. So I wanted to do that because I thought by doing something in India, like going to IIT or AIEEE, the money you get right after you graduate wasn't enough. So I thought कि अगर मैं इतना effort डालूँगा कि मैं पूरा एग्ज़ाम को क्रैक करूँ JEE का और मैं IIT दिल्ली में या मुंबई में मैं जाऊँ, great, yeah, it's a very big achievement. But what if I just go to MIT, or what if I go to Harvard? You feel better and you have a way more salary after you graduate. So I was very short-term thinking. I was very thinking just about the money, and I thought, why not? Let's try it. I can also give my exams. अगर मेरे को नहीं मिलती अच्छी university scholarships के साथ, so then I can always go and अगर मुझे नहीं मिलती अच्छी university, then I can always do engineering in India. So that's why I chose to go through that process. I got into a good university and I got about 80% scholarship. So I decided to come to Canada because this was the only university that was giving me the most amount of scholarships.
So when you actually got,
Yeah.
was like, what made you start getting into like bodybuilding?
So when I got here, I think शुरू में तो बहुत मैं excited था. It was first like week before the university started. I was very like, everything is so like different here. Like streets are clean, and I was interacting with a lot of Indian students, so Indian Student Association with the university man. And we used to have our like cricket matches and basketball matches, and it was just like so much fun. But then when university started, the course was so hard. Like you have to constantly be in the university. Started like that loneliness started kicking in, and then you're like thinking like, did I make a right choice? Because you don't feel you fit in. Like you're still a minority. आप international student जब आप होते हो, आप बहुत छोटी population हो, so you feel कि everybody else is getting along, and आपकी छोटी सी community है Indian students की, जिसमें मुझे नहीं लगता था कि मैं I get along with them. I think मेरा mindset थोड़ा सा different था, so I didn't really get along with those all the time. कभी कभी cricket खेलने के लिए, yeah, sure, like I can do that. So I felt कि I'm out of place, and bodybuilding, like going to the gym became kind of like my therapy, and I loved that I had something to look forward to after my university was done. So जब classes हो जाती थी उसके बाद I had something to look forward to. और दूसरी चीज़ जो मेरे को बहुत help करी है to overcome my international student life was that eagerness to learn. That bodybuilding, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to work out. I didn't know how to diet. I didn't know anything. So all my time, all my free time, I was never alone. I was never like अकेला नहीं बैठा था मैं, बोर नहीं हो रहा था मैं. I was always researching. I was like always looking up articles, forums and videos, and like उस time पे तो इतना common था भी नहीं जैसा आज है. It used to be pretty hard. There was like probably 4 or 5 YouTubers. Hodge twins थे, एक Physique of Greatness था, 2-3 channels थे, but forums में लोग active होते थे, तो I used to join forums. So I used to go over all the answers on forums, bodybuilding.com ke articles, magazines. I started like buying and like, you know, buy kya, I used to use the magazines like uTorrent pe, like people who know watching that they know what uTorrent is. I used to download those pirated fitness magazines ताकि मैं पढ़ सकूँ. So that became such a obsession कि मेरे को कभी बहुत टाइम तक मुझे ऐसा लगा ही नहीं कि मैं you know एक uncomfortable situation में हूँ. हमेशा से ये था कि नहीं आज पढ़ना है और आज पढ़ना है, आज ये जिम में जाके ट्राई करूँगा. So it's like you're completely focused in that learning and obviously आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी. So I never had that feeling कि यार मैं क्या करूँ अपने टाइम के साथ, या मैं दोस्तों के साथ मटर गश्ती करूँ ना. I was always in my room studying in bodybuilding or my university and then going to the workout gym.
Okay, so when you did start your school and everything,
Yeah.
like how did you manage your expenses? Because you were obviously doing bodybuilding and you were going to school,
Yeah.
you were working too. So
Yeah.
how did you manage that expense and how did you learn like that financial education to balance, you know, like the money? Because most of us international students, like myself too, we're not good at managing.
Yeah, I think first and foremost thing that was very important for me was I wouldn't have been able to afford an education here, especially engineering. The tuition fees we were paying was I think $30,000 a year on just tuition fee. वो भी 10 साल पहले आज से. I couldn't have afforded that if I didn't get the scholarships. I had about 80% scholarship. So student tuition fee में I was paying like 10,000 a year, like something around that. But जो मेरे living expenses थे, in my first year, obviously that was something that was budgeted, so I wasn't really working in my first year. So I was very calculative of what I'm eating. तो अब मैं bodybuilding सीख भी रहा था. मेरा breakfast होता था muffin and like some eggs. जो भी सबसे सस्ती चीज़ मैं ले सकता हूँ, that's what I would eat. Slowly, as I learned more about bodybuilding, then I started like tuna cans I was eating because there was 88 cents, 90 cents sale पे मिलते थे. One tuna can is 30 gram protein. So I used to just eat tuna cans most of the time. Egg whites were very cheap. So सबसे दो या चीज़ सबसे सस्ती मैंने वो ले ली थी protein sources, और फिर अपना rice and bread and peanut butter is all I used to eat. This was my complete diet. And then dormitory में आप हो तो I had a little bit of a like आपके card में आपको already money मिलता है ताकि आप spend करो university में. So I used to always go for Subway or something that is like, you know, not as expensive but you have protein choice in it. So that was my first year. Second year I started working and I was doing part-time jobs, and 3 part-time jobs actually. I started working as a cook at a restaurant. I was also working in one of the bars. I was actually working as a dishwasher. And one of the other jobs I was doing overnight shift at Mac's store. So जो convenience store होते हैं gas station के पास, वहाँ पे overnight shift. So I was doing all 3 of those jobs. I was never going to university. जब मैं shift करता था उसी समय मैं पढ़ाई कर लेता था. Never went to university. Missed classes. You know, labs जाता था but classes miss हो जाती थी मेरी. Because I was like I think more than money, I was making money through those part-time jobs, but I also wanted to be sure that I get a job internship. क्योंकि आप इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स को नहीं इतनी प्रायोरिटी मिलती है जब आप जॉब्स के लिए अप्लाई करते हो, स्पेशली इंजीनियरिंग या आपका कोई रिसर्च बेस आपको चाहिए. सो टू स्टैंड आउट यू हैव टू शो समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा ऑन योर रेज्यूमे. ग्रेड्स के अलावा और भी चीज़ें चाहिए. मेरी ग्रेड्स ऑलरेडी मेरी हाई थी. 3.8 3.9 GPA was a very normal thing for me because I needed those to maintain my scholarships. So that was adding pressure too, because to renew scholarships I need more than 3.5 GPA every year. So that was the pressure. So I was studying very good, but also you need more. You have to show to the recruiters what are you doing with your time. So that's why I was working 3 jobs. So जब मैं interview में गया अपने पहली internship के, I was the first international student there to get the job. क्योंकि they were like, how do you manage 3 jobs? Like you're supposed to work 20 hours a week. I was working 40 to 50 hours a week. You know, I was getting cash payments because it's not legal to work 60 hours a week. So they were asking me those questions and I told them, I'm like, hey, like because I want to be productive. And at the same time I was doing bodybuilding. I was learning about that. I was going to the gym and all of that. So I stood out in my interview. And because I stood out, I got the job. Now in my next year, I was making money as an engineer. I already saved enough in my summer. So again, like those are the things I've done. Like uske next year bhi I was doing one part-time job, and I was also personal training clients. मैं लोगों के घर ज़्यादा train and bus पकड़ के जो mostly they were like single mothers जो अपना अभी भी उनका बच्चा हुआ है and they're like trying to get back in shape. So just to go to their home gym. So like 1 घंटा लगता था, ट्रेन पकड़ो फिर बस पकड़ो फिर -40 के टेम्परेचर में -40 के टेम्परेचर में आप करो तो because they used to give you cash $40 an hour. which is way more than $10 an hour जो उस समय मिलता था आपको minimum wage job पे. So when you're making 4 times the money, I was like अच्छा इस ट्रेन में जा रहे हो तो आप गाने भी सुन सकते हो या फिर आप पढ़ाई भी थोड़ी कर सकते हो, so it's fine. और हाँ, it was hard because -40 में it used to be very hard and I used to always, I remember that very clearly. -40 के टेम्परेचर जब मैं चल के स्नो के थ्रू जा रहा हूँ क्योंकि बस उस समय नहीं है रात को जब मैं वापस यूनिवर्सिटी जा रहा हूँ, आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज थिंक कि एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब मुझे ये नहीं करना पड़ेगा एंड दिस इज़ द कॉस्ट ऑफ माई सक्सेस. एंड ठीक है, मैं जितना सफ़र करूँगा उतनी ज़्यादा से मेरी सक्सेस होगी. आई यूज्ड टू रिपीट दिस इन माई हेड, सो आई डिड दैट ऑल द टाइम. So I think that's how I budgeted, and I was lucky enough to get those internships and be able to like make real money and save it all to help with my next year, so I can afford supplements, I can afford high protein diet, I can afford chicken. My first year I was not able to afford high protein diet. Like my protein was very minimalistic and it was coming from, as I said, just tuna cans and that. So it all started after second year.
I think this was like a really common question. I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
How did you balance school and relationship? I think it's a common question in India.
Yeah, I think ये सबसे ज़्यादा कॉमन क्वेश्चन है और मेरे से बहुत लोग पूछते भी हैं, girls and guys alike. I get a lot of those, and I think so for me, मेरा सिचुएशन थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट था because when I went to Canada, I was very clear that I want no distractions. Scholarships maintain करनी है, नहीं तो वापस चले जाएंगे तो बेइज्जती हो जाएगी. I fought with my parents to come to Canada. I got the scholarships, you know, nobody wanted me to come to Canada to study. So basically, that's like a failure is never an option for me. It's never have been, whenever, even in school. So that fear of failure was so high that longness for a relationship was not as much. So I told myself, no matter what, don't get, because मेरी एक स्कूल में रिलेशनशिप जब हुई थी, I know how it felt when it didn't work out, you know. So I know that when I'm going to university, I don't want that to happen, at least until I get a job offer. मेरे को जॉब ऑफर, जो फाइनल जॉब ऑफर होता है आपको 1 साल पहले मिलता है, तो मतलब थर्ड ईयर तक, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड ईयर, आई कांट बी इनटू डिस्ट्रैक्शंस. सो आई मेड इट वेरी क्लियर दैट आई वाज नॉट इवन इंटरैक्टिंग विद द ऑपोजिट सेक्स. या यू नो, कभी कभी you will talk, you might even go on date, but you would know that, you know what, this is not what I want. I can't, because आप relationship में जाओगे, everything is great, then you start giving more time, great, then आपका वो distraction हो जाएगा, you will always want to spend time with the person, या आपको activity करनी पड़ेगी साथ में, that is distracting you from your focus, from your goal, from the time that you can spend studying or doing a job, right? हर एक को आपको time देना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद बाय चांस कुछ, हर रिलेशनशिप में ऊपर नीचे होता है, अगर आप लो टाइम से जाओगे, देन व्हाट, यू आर डिस्ट्रैक्टेड, यू वोंट बी एबल टू स्टडी, यू वोंट बी एबल टू गिव एग्जाम्स. मेरे साथ ऐसा कभी हुआ ही नहीं. फर्स्ट 3 years आई हैड नेवर एनी प्रॉब्लम फॉर एनी एग्जाम, फॉर एनीथिंग, बिकॉज कभी वो एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स नहीं थे, सब इंटरनल था. आई हैड full control over my situation, and that is what helped me do really well with the jobs and degree, I mean apna jobs and apne grades and my bodybuilding as well. And then I did get into a relationship, and I know how that final year was. It was up and down, it wasn't steady, but by then mera sara kaam ho chuka tha. I already had a job. So final year mein I was actually partying too. I also didn't party my first 3 years, never went to a club, never went to socialize, never did anything like that in my first 3 years. I started that after I got a job offer, and I was at the club every weekend. Every weekend I was partying. That's the year I started going to raves and festivals too. So it all comes down to your priorities. But ये मेरा था. What I would recommend is, not everybody can do that. I know, you know, life is like that and everybody wants to be in relationships, and nowadays it's even more common. So I would just recommend that you find a balance, right? Like अगर आप ऐसी रिलेशनशिप है जिसमें आपको बहुत ज़्यादा आप दुखी हो, या यू नो आपको वो डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर रहा है आपके ग्रेड्स लाने से, आपके एग्जाम्स अच्छे नहीं जा रहे हैं, आप पढ़ नहीं पा रहे हो, फोकस नहीं कर पा रहे हो, let that relationship go, because उसकी वजह से आपकी पूरी लाइफ ख़राब हो सकती है. That exam is never going to come back again. That first year exam, second year exam, first year, second year है, ये सब दोबारा नहीं आएंगे. And if your priority is to get a really good job, if your priority is to do something in life, sometimes you have to make those sacrifices, and that's one of the sacrifices you have to make when it comes to relationships. Or find a really supportive partner who is like you. एक और, स्पेशली एज इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट, आप एक ऐसे स्टूडेंट को पकड़ो जो उतना ही ड्रिवन है, उतना ही हंग्री है, उसी सिचुएशन में है जो आप हो, तो उसको भी मार्क्स लाना है, आपको भी लाना है, वो भी समझेगा एग्जाम टाइम में कि आपसे ज़्यादा नहीं वो एक्सपेक्ट कर सकता, आप भी समझोगे, तो इट्स लिटिल बिट मोर ऑफ अ बैलेंस. तो दैट कम्स डाउन टू लाइक फाइंडिंग द राइट पर्सन. बट या दैट्स माई टिप.
I know everybody knows how you quit engineering and went into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people. I don't think you have told anyone. Like, what was your family's reaction, or your relatives' reaction, your friends' reaction when you decided, okay, I'm gonna quit engineering, which is paying me, like a lot of money,
Yeah.
whatever, and it's secure and everything, but you decided to get into bodybuilding. Like, what happened? Like, what was the reaction of everyone around you?
I think they were definitely surprised and a little bit shocked because I've worked so hard. I paid so much money in tuition fees, and I've worked so hard to get that degree and to get that job, and now I'm just kind of quitting it. I think, but they had a trust in me that no matter what I do, I'll do well. And I told them if I fail, like if I'm not able to do well, I'll go back to it. In 2 years, if I fail, I gave myself 2 years. I still remember that talk I had with my mother. उस समय मैंने अपनी मॉम को यही बोला था कि 2 साल में अगर मैं नहीं कर पाता ये चीज़ तो मैं MBA कर लूँगा and I'll go back to my corporate life and do fitness as on the side. But मुझे 2 साल तो चाहिए. So उससे क्या होता है कि अंदर आपके प्रेशर भी आता है. मेरे अंदर एक प्रेशर भी था कि देखो आई हैव टू वर्क रियली हार्ड. 2 ही साल है मेरे पास, या तो करो या मरो टाइप की सिचुएशन है. तो यू वर्क हार्डर. नंबर 2, you're all in. किसी भी चीज़ में एक्सेल करने के लिए यू हैव टू बी ऑल इन. यू कांट बी लाइक मैं आधा इधर कर लूँ आधा उधर कर लूँ. आई हैड ऑलरेडी बिकम अ प्रो while managing my job and my bodybuilding. तो I already knew that I have that talent in me. So सबसे बड़ी important चीज़ होती है you need to have that talent. बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो बॉडी बिल्डिंग बनना चाहते हैं, बट मे बी यू डोंट हैव द टैलेंट टू बी एन प्रो. दैट्स ओके. देयर आर अदर थिंग्स यू कैन डू. यू कैन स्टिल हैव दैट पैशन इन यू, बट नॉट एवरीवन्स पैशन इज गोना बिकम द प्रोफेशन. Like you have to be genetically gifted in that. So for me, when I saw that I'm able to compete, win my first 2 shows, then balance my job and my competing and still become a pro, I knew that अगर मैं 2 साल अपने आप को दूंगा तो मैं करियर बना सकता हूँ. There's a very high possibility, so the risk is calculative. मैंने blind risk नहीं लिया. It was a calculated risk, and I explained that to my parents, and they understood that. So that's why it wasn't as hard. So if you want to take a risk like that, make sure that it's calculative. आप हर चीज़ का फाइनेंसेस का आप कैलकुलेट करो. आपकी लाइफ में क्या उसका इम्पैक्ट आएगा, आपकी फैमिली पे क्या इम्पैक्ट आएगा, सबका आप कैलकुलेट करके देन यू मेक अ डिसीजन. अंधा रिस्क लेने से कि मैं तो अब मेरे को तो सिर्फ बॉडी बिल्डर बनना है, प्रो बॉडी बिल्डर, और लाइफ का कुछ भी हो मेरे को नहीं, दैट डजंट वर्क. यू हैव टू.
I think the second last question would be an advice for people, who are following you, like from back home or even here, if they want to become a bodybuilder. Now that you're a professional, 3-time Olympian, like what's your advice on professional bodybuilder with sponsorships?
I think ये चीज़ मैंने कई बार पहले भी बोली हुई है, and I will say the same thing again, that always have a secure source of money coming in. Always be willing to balance a good career, a high paying career with your bodybuilding. अगर आप उसको बैलेंस करके compete करके अगर आप कुछ सक्सेस आपको मिलती है, then you can think about turning it into a profession. I know ये चीज़ बहुत लोगों को अच्छी नहीं लगेगी, but I'm being very real right now. 99.99% लोग जो compete करते हैं will never be able to turn that into their profession. आज भी ओलंपिया में जितने लोग आप देखते हो, at least 90%, if not 99%, I'm betting 90% to 99% log have a proper career, a job, a work, like an office job. It's not even personal training. They are like working at actual offices and then competing at the Olympia. Military people, a lot of them are military people. तो अब retire हो गए military से, तो उनके पास ज़्यादा time है, पर उनको वो पैसा आता है military से, because they served their time in army. ये US में बहुत ज़्यादा common है. So always know that. अगर जो लोग, सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यह है कि एवरीबडी इज ट्राइंग टू मेक अ करियर इन फिटनेस, बट हाँ, अगर आपका पर्सनल ट्रेनिंग बनना है, पर्सनल ट्रेनर बनना है, या आपको जिम में काम करना है, या ये, आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट, देन यू कैन डू इट. बट इफ़ योर गोल इज़ कि आप बैठ के इंस्टाग्राम पे कंटेंट बना के आपको पैसे मिलेंगे, दैट्स वेरी रेयर. इट कैन हैपन दो, बट अगर आपका वो गोल है, बाकी की चीज़ें तो करते रहो ना. दैट वाज माई गोल टू, दैट वाज माई ड्रीम. That I'm a sponsored athlete, and I'm making money of like doing on my own, like my own businesses, and my coaching हो गई, fitness हो गई, sponsorships हो गई, and all of those things. That was my goal. But while that was my goal, I was also an engineer. I was making really good money as an engineer. जब मैंने quit किया तब भी मैंने 2 साल दिए. Sponsorships मेरी शुरू हुई थी कितना $200 से शुरू हुई थी मेरी sponsorship. And $200 से देके it has gone to a lot higher level because I have put in that work. बट अगर नहीं जाती तो भी मैं इंजीनियरिंग के पास वापस चला जाता और मैं फिर बोलता कि ठीक है नहीं हो सकता, ओलंपिया नहीं हो सकता, मे बी आई कैन डू 6 shows a year, मे बी आई कैन ओनली डू 1 show a year while I'm an engineer and that's fine. So I'll do just 1 show. So I'll work as an engineer. I have 3 weeks of vacation. मैं 3 हफ्ते अपनी जो छुट्टी मिलती है साल की वो मैं अपने प्रेप्स पे डालूंगा, पीक वीक्स पे. That's how you have to think. So if your goal is to become a professional bodybuilder, make sure you know what reality is. That most people won't be able to do that. So always have something that you can still do and you enjoy as work. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you guys like this video, make sure you comment and tell me, and I'll make more such content for you. So see you guys next time.